Today we're going to start talking about photosynthesis. This is our final set of notes for this unit, so make sure that you're paying attention and you complete all of your blanks. Photosynthesis, an easy way to remember it is we're just taking light and we're turning it into energy that we can actually use or that a plant can actually use. So it's life from light and air. Now, plants are energy producers. Remember, we've talked about plants being autotrophs and producers. Like animals, they need energy to live, but they don't have to eat food in order to make that energy like we do. Instead, they're going to use energy from the sun to make ATP energy, and then they're going to turn around and use that ATP energy to make carbs, and then they're going to take those carbs and they're going to put them in their mitochondria and do some cellular respiration to make the energy that they need to grow. So here we see a picture of photosynthesis. We've got some light going into a leaf. We add some carbon dioxide and water. We get out carbohydrates and oxygen. This is the same thing. We've got light going in with water. Whenever that light and the water mix, we go through a light reaction that produces some oxygen, and it also produces the energy that is needed for the rest of photosynthesis to occur. So then we take that energy and we add some more water and some CO2. We go through what's called the Calvin cycle, or the light-independent reaction, and we get the sugar that the plant needs. Now, photosynthesis is, the definition is, it's the process used by autotrophs to convert solar energy into carbohydrates, and there are two stages. The formula for this is CO2 plus H2O plus energy gives or yields C6H12O6 plus oxygen, or carbon dioxide plus water plus light gives us or yields glucose plus oxygen. So we use light and air in order to make our plants grow. So photosynthesis is using the sun's energy along with some water to make ATP, and then using the CO2 and water to make sugar. It happens in chloroplasts. It allows our plants to grow, and the waste product is made, which is actually a waste product that we can use, and that's oxygen. So, in order for plants to grow, they need a couple things. The first thing they need is a factory in order to make the sugar and the energy. That factory is the chloroplast. Remember, the chloroplast is an oval, and it looks like it's got pancakes or pennies all stacked up inside of it. Then they need some fuels. They need sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. And whenever they get that, that's going to make some ATP. And then they need some helpers. They need some enzymes to come along and help them with their process. And when they do this, they're going to be able to grow. So, like I said, there are two reactions. The first is light dependent. These are our energy building reactions. We take the sun's energy, or the plant takes the sun's energy and adds some water and uses that to make ATP. Then we use that ATP in the light independent reaction. So this can happen at nighttime to build the sugars. We take that ATP, add in some CO2, add in some water, boom, we've got some sugar. So, photosynthesis. All right, what does all this mean? Here we go. For the energy building reaction to occur, we take in some water, we take in sunlight, we go through an energy building reaction. A waste product is produced. That's oxygen, okay? It goes away. Some ATP is made, and that ATP is made just to synthesize sugars. This is not ATP that is used by the plant to grow or to reproduce, nothing like that. This is just to make sugars. So the ATP is used right away. So we take that ATP, we add some CO2 and some water to it, we build the sugars. The sugar is what the plant really wants. Then remember, ATP, whenever it's been used, becomes ADP. So the whole process starts over again. Now, chloroplasts use pigments to trap sunlight. Pigments give the plants colors. For the most part, plants are green. That's because they have chlorophyll. The reason that they are green is because the chlorophyll actually absorbs all the purple and blue and yellow and orange and red light, but that green light gets reflected or bounced back out. The reason that roses can be red is because they're absorbing everything but the red light. The reason that pansies are purple is because they're absorbing everything but the purple light. Now, photosynthesis, the rate of photosynthesis, or how fast it happens, can be affected by 4 different things: light intensity, carbon dioxide, temperature, and pH. So basically, any factor that's going to influence an enzyme, which we're going to talk more about enzymes later in another unit or two, any factor that can affect enzymes is going to influence photosynthesis. So if we don't have a lot of light, photosynthesis will slow down. If we have too much light, photosynthesis will slow down. Same thing with these other factors that can affect it. So here we go. This is the energy cycle. So we start out with energy from the sun, and that's used for photosynthesis in plants and producers. That photosynthesis produces glucose and oxygen. Remember, glucose and oxygen are the things that animals and plants both need to go through cellular respiration. So here we're in the chloroplast, here we're in the mitochondria. That cellular respiration produces ATP that our bodies need for synthesis, repairing, reproducing, growing, maintaining homeostasis, active transport, all of those things. Then that ATP gets moved or gets used. We put out some water and some carbon dioxide. Well, the water and carbon dioxide go right back into photosynthesis. So the whole thing is a cycle. Now let's talk about leaves. Here we have a picture of a leaf. We are looking here at the picture of the leaf. This is the top, this is the bottom. We've cut a section into it, okay? So there's a couple of different layers. We've got a cuticle, okay? We've got a palisade layer. We remember this because a palisade, that's another word for like a long hallway. So these are long and skinny. We've got a spongy layer. It's got lots of air pockets. Those air pockets remind you of like the holes in a sponge. Here we have the vascular bundle, okay? It's got the veins in it. We've got the lower epidermis, and then we've got a cuticle on the bottom as well. So here's what those parts are for. The cuticle is a waxy coating that reduces water loss. So the cuticle is going to be really thin in an area where there's a lot of water, but it's going to be really thick in an area where there's like a desert and there's not a lot of rain. The epidermis is the skin protecting leaf structures. The palisades layer has a lot of chloroplast. If you look, this is the top of the leaf. So this is where all the sun is hitting. So that's going to need a lot of chloroplasts, so that this is where most of the photosynthesis happens. The spongy layer is where there are air spaces and we can exchange gases. Now, stomata are found in the bottom of the leaves. If you look here, this is actually a hole, okay? The stomata is the hole that's right here. It allows oxygen in, it allows CO2 in, oxygen out, water out. We need the water to leave so that it can go back up into the sky, and then it can rain down and it can be taken up by the roots. But we'll talk more about that in class. Then these guard cells, which are right here, surround the stomata so they can open and close. When there's a lot of water, when it's not too hot, they're going to stay open. When there could be a possibility of too much water loss, they're going to close off that stomata so that water can't get out of the leaf. Now, that's it for the notes for this unit. Make sure that you've completed all of your vocab. I promise that all the vocab that has been covered, or all the vocab that is in your extra credit has been covered. Make sure that you've completed all of your blanks so that you get 100 on your note check in a couple of days or tomorrow or whenever it is that you're watching this. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.